Hi everyone, welcome back to more political chatter. We are back with another 2024 election prediction. This one is between Nikki Haley and Joe Biden. Nikki Haley is the former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. She was a Republican and she served under Donald Trump. She also, before that, served as the governor of South Carolina. And Nikki Haley, she's going to be seen as a more acceptable and more moderate form of Donald Trump. But she will still win that Trumpian base of the Republican Party. So Nikki Haley going against the very unpopular Democrat President Joe Biden, she will be very powerful because again, she is a more moderate choice, and she will take unsatisfied Biden voters, independents, Republicans, and those Republicans who had voted for Biden in 2020 because they didn't like Trump very much. So let's do this. So California and Washington would stay safe blue. Hawaii and Illinois probably would also. I could see Illinois becoming likely because it did go to Joe Biden by 17 points, and then, subtract 2 points off, and that becomes a likely Illinois. D.C., Maryland, just because it is its home state, Delaware will be safe. New York, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Vermont. And then going to states like Oregon, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Maine's 1st District, these will all be likely. These were all likely states for Hillary Clinton in 2016, and really, with Nikki Haley attracting so many voters from all sides of the political spectrum, I really see her making these states all likely. But going to safe states for Nikki Haley: Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, North and South Dakota, Kansas, Oklahoma, Nebraska at large, Nebraska's 1st, Nebraska's 3rd, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Indiana, West Virginia, Mississippi, Alabama. It is her home state, so South Carolina will be safe. And really, Alaska I see becoming safe. It is definitely more of a moderate state when it comes to Republican and conservative states, and I really see them liking Nikki Haley much more than Donald Trump. And I see Nikki Haley doing very well in the states of Ohio and Iowa, 2 states that Trump won by a likely margin in 2016 and 2020. She might not have as good of appeal here as Trump did in both of those years. However, she is a Trumpian candidate, and really people like Ron DeSantis, even someone like Mike Pompeo. Any Trumpian candidate is going to win these 2 states. And really, Nikki Haley, she will be very popular among suburban moms. That will really boost her in the Midwest. It's going to make Nebraska's 2nd District a lean margin win for her. We have to remember that suburban moms will turn out heavily for Nikki Haley, especially in the state of Texas. Definitely one of them. I think that will be likely for Nikki Haley. I think that Maine's 2nd District will be likely. She might not have the strange appeal that Trump did in 2016 and 2020, but she will have something there. And then going to New Hampshire, I think that this would be a lean win for Nikki Haley. Definitely a state where she would turn out the unsatisfied Trump voters that voted for him in 2016, then switched to Biden. She will return those back to the Republican Party. And New Hampshire is a moderate state that has a lot of independents. Nikki Haley will win a lot of them over. I do think that Maine at large would be too far-fetched. I think that Joe Biden will win in Maine at large by a lean margin. All right, and then going to New Mexico and Colorado. I think that both of these would be lean wins for Joe Biden. I think that Nikki Haley would have some excitement in the state of New Mexico. I do think that there are a lot of suburban voters here who would turn out for Nikki Haley. Colorado, and I just think in Colorado, and let's go to Minnesota, too. I'm going to make Minnesota tilt because in both these states, I do think that there is enough of a Democratic base that will turn out for Joe Biden. I think it would be enough because there are more Democrats in these 3 states than there are Republicans, and we have to keep that in mind. But going to Arizona and Nevada, where Nikki Haley will be very popular in the suburbs, as I mentioned before, she would do very well in both of these states. I think that she would win in both these states by a lean margin. Actually, I'm going to make Arizona likely because Trump only lost here because of his McCain remarks, and Nikki Haley obviously does not have any scandal around her involving John McCain and remarks about him, so I do think that it would be likely. Florida, I will make likely because I do think that if independents turn out enough for Nikki Haley, then it could be likely here. And then, of course, it is a Republican state. Joe Biden is very much hated in the state, and he has no shot at winning here. But I'm just deciding whether it would be likely or lean. And I do think that it would be likely. And I think that Nikki Haley, I will also point this out, and that would give her a likely win in Florida also. What we have to remember is that she has a southern appeal. She has an appeal in the Sun Belt: Arizona, Texas, Florida, Georgia, in North Carolina. Lean wins in both of these states. She will have an appeal on these in the southern region of the United States because she comes from the state of South Carolina. The South will be her base. And then going up to Virginia, I mean, Virginia voters voted for Glenn Youngkin. Glenn Youngkin won here the governorship by 1.2%. I'm sorry, not 1.2, 1.9%, which is kind of a lot for a Republican in the state of Virginia, and it was extremely unexpected, especially a lean margin of 1.9%. That's insane. So Virginia voters obviously took Biden's unpopularity in mind, how everyone hated Biden, and what they also took in mind was, what they didn't take in mind was that they thought that Glenn Youngkin did not represent Trump. That was key, because they would not have voted for Glenn Youngkin if he stood with Trump, if he publicly stood with Trump, all right? And they did not affiliate Glenn Youngkin with Donald Trump. And I feel that they would do the same for Nikki Haley, and Glenn Youngkin's win was encouraged by the unpopularity of Joe Biden. And who's running? Not Terry McAuliffe, Youngkin's opponent. It's Joe Biden. So I do think that Virginia would shift to the right a little bit, and I think that would vote in Nikki Haley. So Nikki Haley has already won this election. Going to the blue wall, I think that Nikki Haley will win by a lean margin here in all three of these states. I think that there are enough blue-collar workers who voted for Trump in 2016 than Biden in 2020. I think that they would turn out for Nikki Haley. I think that they would once again turn out for the Republican nominee, that being Nikki Haley, and I think that she would be able to pretty easily win these three states. Michigan might not be so easy, but really Wisconsin and Pennsylvania are already under her belt. So Nikki Haley wins with 330 electoral votes to Joe Biden's 228. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. Check out all my other videos, and I hope to see you next time.